I saw that you changed your designer, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I just want to address one thing that it's interesting, this particular sentence in your writing because I was looking through your work this week, and I saw the changes that you made and the conceptual and the decision changes that were completely made. And I went back to last week works, and I even went back to the week before that, and I just keep looking at, and I keep saying to myself, boy, it just looks like Ben is having a problem committing to an idea, a concept, as it were. And that's why I found this sentence I found really super interesting. The design and idea have changed so many times that the original ideas and sketches have been lost. And that's exactly what I really felt. I felt that it's just you've tried too many things. You've not really gone and you've not really committed to any really solid presentational or conceptual foundation, so to speak. Um, so I understand. I feel bad because your writing made me feel like you're frustrated, and as an instructor and someone who loves to teach, I just it really makes me feel bad. I feel like I'm somewhat responsible for your frustration, and that's just that's not me. You know me, man. I mean, I'll go all the way. So, anyways, now my first question here is the yellow background. I think it's a mistake. I just think it's boy. White background is so beautiful in so many different ways, and it just seems it would just be best to start with a blank canvas instead of adding this inherent meaning with the color yellow. So you're adding meaning to this piece before the viewer even gets to start reading. Okay, and you can take a look at what the meaning of the color yellow. There's a few basic meanings um, in color theory behind yellow. Look them up, and you'll see why that might be a little bit of a concern. As far as the page layout goes, it looks like you've set up this two column. Your outer column is a little wider than your inner, but it looks like you've kind of stuck with that formula through the project, which is fine. It's a very safe choice. There's some things that you could do you could simply on the same spread mirror this page. Okay, so you've got type left, image center, type right. You could go type left, image center, type, and then image to mirror that page, or you could go um, um, images on the outside and one image on, and let's try some different things with this two column grid. I think that right now, one of the issues that I'm seeing is alignment. And I talked about this in the last presentation too. And I really, it points back to grid. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I just draw a line to a guideline over here to the X height of this, or you could draw it to the cap height or the baseline, whatever you want. But the point is that this is not in alignment. And that's why this page is naturally uncomfortable to the eye. All right, suggestion here, pull this type down, start it in the same alignment there. These images right here, start them right here. Start them with, so you have that clear yellow, hopefully white. You have that clear negative space right there throughout the whole heading of the page. It'll clean things up tremendously. I promise you'll like it. And try to keep that area clear throughout the rest of your presentation, okay? So in other words, that's where your type starts, nothing above that. Okay, it'll really help to designate the headlines. It'll help to set a nice cadence for the page, a nice timing, a resting place as it were, instead of just jumping into the work and jumping around the page. Okay, so try that first. Next thing I would like you to look at is this. Take a look at this type here, then compare it with this type here. There's clearly two different font sizes, and the treatments are clearly different. So that's an inconsistency, a pretty major inconsistency. Okay, and then that is between pages 3 and 4. Okay, Another inconsistency I'm seeing is this. Okay, this would be, you're a computer guy, this would be your H1. All right, H1s don't change. They don't change. Yours are changing. See, that's a different font size. So is that. So is that. Those are headlines. They have to stay the same. See what I'm saying? If you're going to start out this one, I could see being a little bit more commanding in terms of a visual weight and hierarchy because it's his name. It's the beginning of the presentation. But these all need to be identical. Think of them as H1s. Okay, other than that, I think that now you are adhering to the grid. I think that's very obvious. I think this page right here, I think it's just a filler. I do. I think it's really obvious that it's a filler. So I would definitely work another page in here. You said something in your writing that had me concerned too. You're not writing this, I hope. You're not writing this, I hope. I mean, go to a site and lift this and just copy and paste your text and format your text. Did you say that you were writing this? I forget. I thought it was you that. I'm no writer. I'd rather use placement text. I thought you said that you were writing, but I hope not. Yeah, no, don't write. Lift the text. Don't use placeholder text. But you could just go to a website on Vignelli and pick up the type and copy and paste. Just remember to credit the website at the end of your presentation, okay? And I'll give you plenty of text to use so you don't have to use a filler page like that too. So this is interesting, this using the grid, and I think that, and it is harmonious, this page is, it is, and the reason it is because you've got, this is your center line, okay? So that margin is correct, okay? Plus the fact that we've already got this visual marker started right up here on the first page, and that's the placement of the corner of that image. And as we can scroll through, we can see that it is used again there, and then in an interesting way, again, right there. I think that you can place this anywhere within the grid and still have it harmonious. However, I think this type should fall below this this pull quote. So, pull quotes there, type is there, or however you want to assemble that. Now, this is going to sound, one of the things how am I on time? I'm okay on time. One of the things, a couple of other things I want to mention is this is really highly, highly unusual. Actually, it's kind of, I don't want to sound like nasty, but it's kind of not acceptable to change the concept of a project this late in the game. I mean, it's not even midstream. I mean, this is the final. And there's an expectation, and the expectation in design school is that once we decide, and this is why we work concept so much, is once we decide concept, we stick with it. And that would be synonymous in the real world with, let's say I meet with my client and I say, yes, I can do a booklet on Paul Rand, excellent. And I show the client, and the client says, well, can you change this? And you can, just like I did, right? And then the last week, your client's waiting for their book, and you show up with a completely different, and you go, here you go. And they go, what? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important for you in school to stick with your conceptual development. And before I said it was kind of looking like you were having trouble sticking to a concept or making some decisions and sticking with them, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing, and that all points up to upfront work. The front end of the work, the conceptual development planning stages. It looks to me like you're jumping right to the design stage, and that's why you're having these issues. Because there's no underlying brick holding this together, and that would be your what would that be? That would be your written rationale. That would be your sketches, your initial sketches, your initial mock-ups, and your series of digital mock-ups. Okay. Typographically, I did notice one thing also. Okay, space between your headline and your body copy, okay? Right there, it's different than right there. See how much wider it is there? And we find that in a couple of different areas. So check that. That would be set in your paragraph settings, so make sure that's consistent. You don't have any orphans or widows, so good job there. Your rags are a little bit rough. This is fine. That paragraph's fine. That paragraph's, well, right there's a little bit bulbous. You see that? See that it goes like that? That pattern. You want a couple short lines in there. That's too deep. That's going like this. Whoop pattern. You don't want that. Same thing here. This is good. It's fine. That word right there should probably get dropped to the next line. Other than that, that's fine. That's okay. This is fine. This is the kind of rags you want to shoot for, okay? Excuse me. Short line, longer, shorter, longer, shorter, shorter, longer, shorter, and then staggering like that, but not with any great detail, so there would be zigzagging. Okay, and you definitely don't want these patterns in your, You don't want those in your type. Okay, all right, any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me. Thanks.